Hello everyone, Equipment War here, and welcome to my build guide for my Blender Duelist. This character is one of my fastest melee characters I have ever done. It have a lot of damage, a lot of clear speed, and it's a lot of fun to play. And I'm gonna go over my passive skill tree, I'm gonna go over my gear, and I'm gonna go over the skill gems I'm using. And if you have any questions about my gear, skill gems, or passive skill tree, feel free to ask them in the comments and I will be happy to answer them. So let's get started. So let's take a look at my skill tree, and then my gear, and then the gems I'm using. And again, if you have any question about the build, please feel free to ask them in the comments and I will be happy to answer them. So let's start with our skill tree. I am a duelist, as you probably know. I took the attack damage and life. I took all the attack damage here because they're really good. I took all the armor, evasion and life notes here. I also took the first attack speed note here. You don't have to take this one, I just like some more attack speed. Then I took most of the arena. I took bravery. I took art of the gladiator. I took dervish. It's a really good note. I took cloak and chain because I really like it. I have golem's blood, really good note. And then I went for blade barrier, the defensive option, and ambidexterity, the offensive one. And I also took iron reflexes. I went over here. I took both the big intelligence one here and the dexterity one here, because it will make it easier to get the dexterity intelligence you need to your build. But if you have gear which gave a good amount of dexterity and intelligence, you don't need to take these two notes here. Then I went for bloodless, and this time in this version of this build I actually took unwavering stance, which are really nice. I have lust for carnage. I have judgment, really good note. I have barbarism, again really good note. And I still have resolute technique in this build. I still like using resolute technique because you can go crit if you want to get dismembering, but I don't really think that's necessary. You're doing good damage anyway, and be almost guaranteed to hit enemies is actually pretty powerful. So I go with resolute technique. I don't want to use crits in this build because, yeah, I don't find it so helpful in this build. But you can go it if you want. And if you want to have crits, you don't take resolute technique. Instead you take this whole crit wheel here. But that will limit the amount of the types of weapon you're going to be used. And you're also going to miss a little bit often, so that's up to you. But I go for resolute technique. I also went into the marauder area here. I took these one-handed melee damage notes here, always strong aim. I took born to fight. I even took this first damage notes here. As you probably can see, you can do this build without any problem as a marauder. It will work just fine, but I like the duelist. Duelist a little bit better. It's a little bit faster to level, but Marauder will have more tankiness and be able to sustain himself a little bit better, but not a lot. And I have Warrior's Blood, Heart of the Warrior, all of these life and armor notes here, except the last one. I don't think this one is necessary to take. I have armor mastery and some more armor here, and I even have the one I always take, which are diamond skin. And I have lust for carnage, I almost forget to mention that. Also I went up here, I actually took in Durally, I think it's called Durally at least. It gives a good amount of damage. And it also gives some attack speed. I have one Yule socket, and then in this Yule sockets I'm using survival skills. There are probably much better Yules you can use than this one. This one is just what I happen to have. But there are a lot better notes in this one to have. I have a berserking. And then I have constitution. I took all of this life wheel here. You can take path of the warrior if you want. And that's pretty much my passive skill tree. If you have any question about my skill tree, please ask me in the comments. So let's take a look at the gear we're using, shall we? Right now I'm using an axe and a sword. I'm using a Rift Break. The sword is called Rift Break. It's just a rare Crusader sword. Try to get, if you want to use a sword, and by the way, this build can use any type of one-handed weapons, but some of the weapons are more powerful than others, and you can use daggers, but if you go on Resolute Technique and use the daggers, that's not so good, because daggers' biggest attribute to them, you can say, it's actually they have good crit chance, and with Resolute Technique you can't crit anymore. So by using this sword here, and try to get a sword with, you always want to use fast weapon in this build. It is a blender build overall. And try to get a sword with high attack speed and high physical damage. Don't bother with element damage. This one gives up to 80 lightning damage, but doesn't matter that much at all. And I'm still using a Bringer of Rain, but this is optional. You don't have to have Bringer of Rain. If you can get a good rare helmet with high armor, high life and high resistance, you can have that as well. I'm using this Bringer of Rain here because it is like a 6-linked helmet, and it actually gives a good amount of benefits. But my armor I'm using is just a white 6-socked armor. I'm only using it for leveling up skill games, but having it on me makes me look pretty awesome. If you ask me, it looks pretty awesome, that's the reason. And I'm leveling up gems in it, and gems in it will still leveling up. But if you don't using Bringer of Rain, you can have a chest armor, and then you need either a 5-linked or if you can get it, a 6-linked armor. But I go for Bringer of Rain instead. I have this amulet here, nothing special at all. Life, resistance, all of that. It was the best amulet I happens to have. And here is one of the bigger items. It is Soul Taker. If you, as long as you're using Soul Taker, you don't need Blood Magic to this build. But if you don't have Soul Taker, you need to run Blood Magic. A Blood Magic skill gem, support gem. I'm using this ring here. It's nothing. Again, it's nothing special. It's just a ring with some resistance and life. It could be much better on this one, but this is what I happen to have. And then the same thing with this ring here. It's actually giving some intelligence, which are nice. But again, it could be a better ring. I'm using these gloves here, which are pretty nice. They gives decent armor and give a good amount of life and resistance, which are what you want. I'm using Megalodora's Glare, but you don't have to have this belt here. A rare Rustic Stash will do the trick just fine, and then you can also get some more life and resistance on that on a belt like that. But I go with this belt right now. It's a really powerful belt. It gives a lot of damage. And finally, I'm using these armor boots here, which have very high armor and really good lightning resistance and good maximum life. It also gives some strength. It actually increases both your life and your damage. And that's pretty much my gear. If you have any question about the gear, please ask me in the comments. So now I'm gonna go over my skill gems I'm using, and in this build you can pretty much use whatever melee skill you want to use. You can use pretty much every melee skill, but some of the melee skills are better than others. Right now my favorite attack, I don't know why I have that one wrong there, I'm using Dual Strike, which are always my main attack. I'm using it against everything. And due to the new update, which actually did a lot of buff to, what was the name for that now? Melee Splash? Let's see here. Here we have Melee Splash. They actually buffed Melee Splash a lot, so Melee Splash is now very, very powerful. Much more powerful than it was before. And it hits enemy in a huge area. And so as long as you're using Melee Splash, you can use pretty much whatever single target melee skill you want. And it will work just fine. But I'm using Dual Strike, which are supported, as I said before, with Melee Splash and Multi Strike and added fire damage. But this is Bringer of Rain, so it's also supported by a level 18 melee physical damage, also supported by a level 18 faster attacks, and also are supported by a level 18 blind, just because this is Bringer of Rain. The level 18 blind do not doing anymore, and nothing for me anymore. I will blind the enemy, but because I have unwavering stance, I can't get stunned more. Blinded enemy will still hit me, so it doesn't matter against me. But if you're playing in a party and you're blinding enemies, the enemy is going to have a harder time hitting your party, so it will still do something for you. But normally that level 18 blind is, if you're going for unwavering stance, the level 18 blind is doesn't do anything for you anymore. So that's the reason why you don't have to have Bring of Frame, but I really like this helmet, so I'm using it anyway. Other skill setup, it is this setup here, which are a cost on damage taken setup, which are supporting a level. This is supported a Warlord's Mark and a Molten Shell, which actually I should level up. So I'm using Molten Shell and Warlord's Mark together with custom with damage taken. Some other gems I'm using some mana reserves and auras. I'm using Herald of Ice. I really like this gem. It's not the most powerful gem ever, but I really like it. It slows some enemies down. And it looks really awesome on your hands. That's the main reason I like to use it. I have 25% of my mana unreserved, so I choose to use that one. Then here I have just some gems I'm leveling up. I'm leveling up Ice Crush, which actually will work in this build if you want to use it. So Ice Crush will work. And I have a life gain and hit, as I said before. I have a Summon Flame Golem, an Enlighten, level 2 actually. I have a Herald of Ash, and Hatred. Hatred and Herald of Ash is the main damage output when you compare with auras, because if I shut down my Herald of Ash, you see my damage drops from 50k to about 46k, but if I drop Hatred, my damage goes down with about almost 10,000 DPS. So that's a very big deal using Hatred. And then I have a Leap Slam, a Whirling Blade, which are supported by a faster attacks. And this is my main way to move around, because I'm using a sword and an axe. And then I can use like this. I can use the Leap Slam to get around if I need to get over obstacles, and if I need to get behind an enemy and be really fast. I'm using my Whirling Blades, which you can see are very, very fast. Yeah, let's see you fighting an enemy here, and they're about to do a hard attack on you. If you just do like this, get behind them, do that like this, yeah, you can see what I mean. It's a very useful skill to evade enemies. And I don't need Blood Magic for it, because for those tools, because I have Soul Taker. But if you don't have Soul Taker, use another weapon. You need to link this with Blood Magic. And the gems are leveling up, it's just some random stuff. I'm leveling up Determination, Purity of Fire, Dominating Blow, because Dominating Blow is fun. Herald of Ice, another one, and Life Leech. And that's pretty much my build. If you have any question, or if you're wondering about support gems and all of that, feel free to ask me in the comments, and I might do a video when I try out different skills and see how good they work. But the one thing I want to recommend is using Dual Strike. It's a very powerful skill, and yeah, it's just a really good skill. But anyway, I hope you guys like this video, and thanks for watching, everyone. And if you like to see more of my video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to do more build, guys. I have a lot of builds I have made that I want to cover. And yeah, thanks for watching again, and I'll see you guys next time.